I am Mom the manager of my home. And I'm going to be talking about a few things that have come up, some questions, and I want to reassure you that when you are feeling discouraged, when you just feel like, I just don't get what's going on, you're not alone. There are so many parents that get discouraged and they take so much blame. And there's parents that have kids that are just a little bit easier. And you may have one of those kids in your home. So you're like, I do know what I'm doing. I do have this. But then you've got some other kids that it's not so easy. So it can be really hard. However, equal parenting, it doesn't work, right? So some kids just need a different type of parenting, and it doesn't mean that your other strategies are not good. It's just that this child needs a little bit more, or things tweaked, or just more consistency, and a lot more support. And I think that's the piece that gets frustrating, is why do they need so much help? Why do I have to do this with this child and not with the other? So it can get a little frustrating because parents are always feeling like I'm just giving and giving and giving, and it doesn't seem to be working. So there can be a few tweaks, but there's also just a mindset change for us, that this child is not trying to give you a hard time. They are having a hard time, and being able to step back and really focus on what the child needs is a lot harder to do for some of us, because we're just frustrated, and we are doing so many good things, and then we just get discouraged. So number one, I want to let you know that your child is not a little adult, and that they are smart, but what they value is not necessarily what you value. So you wanting them to value that they have a clean room, or even hygiene. Some of them are like, it doesn't matter, my friends still hang out with me even though my hair is greasy, or maybe my breath isn't that great. We want to talk about that, and we want to discuss that. And it is an issue when it's getting in the way of social life. It is getting in the way of them making and keeping friends. But sometimes what we expect is not exactly what they're expecting. So can we meet somewhere in the middle? The other thing is, right now there's a lot of anxiety with getting back to life. And yes, it is anxiety provoking. Maybe even for yourself, you're having a hard time getting back to things. Going to the beach, for example, you show up and it's like, this is too much. I can't handle this. So this is what's going on with your children, and they have less experience, less coping strategies than us, and they are learning from us. So when you go to the beach, for example, and you feel overwhelmed, and we leave and we say, this is too much, we're teaching our children this is how we deal, that we avoid, that we escape. So instead, let's switch this up a little bit. You can acknowledge that you're feeling overwhelmed, but what can you do about that? Let's sit in this discomfort for a few minutes. Let's take a deep breath. Let's look at the beautiful water. Let's close our eyes, and focus on something positive. Say something to yourself that right now this is uncomfortable, but soon we'll be in the water and playing. So it's the same thing with our children, and maybe you are showing up and spending a little bit of time and then leaving and then going back. So this is the thing with getting back to life, and with anxiety, it gets in the way, and we have to slowly give them those tools and those small steps to get to their goal. But that means consistency, and that means tolerating a little bit of distress in your child and in yourself, that we're not rescuing. And children learn what they live, so we want to be a really good role model to them as well. And if you're struggling with anxiety, if you're struggling with them being distressed, and then we rescue them all the time, that can be an issue too. So those are some of the questions that have come up for me, and I wanted to address them. So I hope that was helpful, and please send me your questions. I am here to support you.